In a world where you have nobody, you need to be your own hero. You need to be your own hero. I look in the mirror.
Tuapelo Mosadi Unatinare, we are here and Rebuaga COVID. We always said, please comply, wear your mask, make sure that you apply 1.5 and you also sanitize or wash your hands. So today we're going to Job Shimankana Matsemela. Job is one of the motivational speakers taking more from the crown thing, because she's one mother, she's one sister, she's one aunt. O ena gore ha o tsena go Tuapelo Mosadi o ka se motloki. Ha re tlhoka dithuso ka the health part, she is there. Ha re tlhoka thuso ka marriage, she is there. Ha re tlhoka thuso ka everything ya maphelo a bomme, she's always there to give more motivation and to inspire. We just want to say thank you, Job, for that. We know we always say thank you, but today we are just saying it. We really want to say thank you for your contribution, Tuapelo Mosadi. And we are here talking about COVID. You know, COVID really high fitla last year. Our case it was registered 2 days back in 2020. COVID, and those people they are working for the people, helping the people when it comes to health. And a little bit about when it comes to COVID. But can you just introduce yourself and what motivates you in life?
Kanana Village, Matsemela, Kanana, but presently Tabane West. I'm currently the Assistant Director Nursing for Job Shimankana Tabane, more Orthopaedics. But as you know that COVID is everywhere, you cannot say because you are in orthopedics, go in accident, you can't deal with COVID. So we deal with COVID across the board in the whole hospital, starting from the entrance up to the other entrance. So ke lebogetse monyetla wa ka jeko go tla go bua le lona ka bolwetse bo ba COVID.
Okay, I think just we spoke about COVID. We had positive cases. Fa bopaki ba bona ha ke batla re tsena mo COVID because pila ke batla re tswa mo COVID re tsene mo vaccine. But before ra go vaccine a re bua ka COVID Job gore ga e tsena ele gore yanong now it's in your hand o Job o bereka mo sepetlele, and then now you are supposed gore we kometse COVID and o tswelle o ntse thusa le ba batlang ka sello sa COVID. How did you manage everything at once, and also the understanding ya COVID on your own, this thing, and this is how I'm going to work around it?
When COVID was introduced in South Africa last year in March, it was a scary thing because we thought it will never come to our country, but unfortunately it did, and then we had to deal with it as it is a health issue. So it was very scary even for us healthcare workers, but we had to soldier on. It was very scary in the sense that lockdown, we had to travel alone in the streets. We were alone. We were traveling with permits. The healthcare workers, you could see in the street, that was scary on its own before you can even get to work. Then from there it was an issue how somebody is coming, is a contact, just the contact of COVID. It was very scary. You had to go to the gate, all the PPEs, escort that person from the gate to the PUI ward. Then from there, as what we were, Lena was scared, Lena you are scared, but we had to, we must calm them down. We have to calm them down so that they shouldn't panic and they shouldn't see this as a death sentence. So when the results comes again, you have to tell that person, well, this is not the end of the world. You are still, we will handle you, and we will see to it that you are back to your normal. So it was very scary because we did not want to see ourselves, COVID, so we had to reroute the people COVID to take a certain route to reach their destination so that they don't mix with other people. That is how we managed to not cross-infect other people, because we saw it coming and then we planned for it, and then that is how we managed to COVID up to this juncture.
Okay.
And we had to do the wards specifically for the COVID patients so that we can give them our attention.
Okay. Now, let's talk about mental health. Like we always say, COVID, nobody knew. You also did not know. Only more felt in your health. Even the doctors above you, they did not know. But mental health, what type of support different in terms of healthcare service providers did you get for support?
In our hospital, we have EAP offices, or the OHS that we call Occupational Health Clinic, where there are doctors, there are nurses that are doing the debriefing of the nurses.
Okay.
So in all instances, when you found yourself that you are overwhelmed, you are able to self-refer yourself to say, I can't go on, and then they will call for you, the social workers, the psychologists, and so forth. But other than that, we as managers also, we were trying to alleviate the anxiety that comes with this COVID, and then try on a daily basis to engage with our staff to see how does this impact on them, because it was really overwhelming to just one day you come to work and then you are told somebody else have contacted COVID, and then everybody must go and test and everybody must go home when it started.
Okay.
So it was really a mountain to climb, because now if everybody in the shift has to go home, then we have to get other people to come to work, which was also difficult for us as managers. So, but we had to have a skeleton staff so that if others are on duty, then the others must be at home, so that if we have a challenge, a contingency plan, so that if we have a challenge, so those ones can come in and fill up the space. That's how we managed to keep the wheel rolling.
That is something positive, Sosibwa Mochipi. Now we move into the concept of the vaccine. Now the language in our tongue is vaccine, vaccine, vaccine. And when vaccine was said, the myth started. The community started placing a vaccine in a different level. So can you tell us about that? When as a professional, you had we cannot take that vaccine. What was the background information that came to you guys as the nurses?
You know, as healthcare worker, you need to be informed. If you are not informed, you will misinform the community. So once you are informed about something, then you are able to can relate the correct information to the community. So you must be always on your toes to be upfront with the information. So if you are informed, so you are able to can inform the community in a reasonable and truthful manner. So there were a lot of in-service trainings that we went through, and then there were people that were identified to deal specifically with the vaccine. And those people were called vaccinators. So in the hospital we had 15 people that went specifically to train on vaccine before even the AstraZeneca story came on. So those people were the ones that went they were doing webinars, because now due to this COVID. So they will go there and then they will come and teach the staff. So I think by the time the community started to have the myths that we are guinea pigs and that why don't the vaccine start with the parliamentarians, we were ready. I think we were ready.
Even the mental state was also ready.
The mental state was ready, because if you can remember, the vaccine story is not a new thing with COVID. There have been vaccines throughout. We had polio vaccines, we had whooping cough vaccines, we have meningococcal vaccines. We had vaccines that we used to give to our to children. And you knew that when you take the child to the clinic and the child is sick, that child will not get a vaccine. That was the same story regarding the COVID, so that when you are sick, you cannot acutely sick, you cannot be vaccinated. But if you are okay, you can be vaccinated, and then these are the side effects. The same as the children. When the children come back from the vaccine, you know they will have a fever, maybe for 1 or 2 days. Their thigh, sometimes we use the thigh for them. The thigh will be swollen, then you use the warm compressions, just like that. So we knew all that. We had information about these things. Though there are other people that will be resistant, but we try each and every day to bring them on board to say this is how things are going to happen. Even now, there are people that still believe in the health, inside the hospital, that says they will never get COVID. Others is for religious reasons, others is for cultural reasons, and then we cannot force them. Hence, the vaccine has a consent to be vaccinated.
Okay. I think we are learning a lot about this vaccine, but now we want to know, Oshipi, put us more in the picture. You flow. So can you tell us the vaccine? It landed into South Africa. There were issues with the first vaccine, and unfortunately, because we are not within the system of getting the right information, we were reading what we were getting. Let's talk about the first vaccine, the expiry and all that. Do you have knowledge about that? What can you share with us so that we can move now to the vaccine that was regularly now here and then is the one that was used?
Initially, when the researchers did their researches on vaccines, there were 6 vaccines that were identified. And then I think we know them: the Moderna, the AstraZeneca, the Pfizer, and this one that we are having now, the J&J, Johnson & Johnson. They were 6 in number. But all these vaccines, they are capable of doing the job that they are supposed to do, but they vary in the efficacy.
Okay.
You'll find that the other one, for the certain variant, is good, but for the other variant, it's not good. So in South Africa, initially, when there was a first phase of COVID, first wave of COVID, we had a certain variant of COVID, which the government thought AstraZeneca will be able to fight against that. But when the second wave came, then we had a different variant.
Okay.
So by the time the negotiations was done that the AstraZeneca should be bought from India. It was coming from India. The researchers have not yet checked whether AstraZeneca will be able to be efficient to the current variant. That is why when the AstraZeneca arrived in South Africa, there was this thing that AstraZeneca should be tested for at least 14 days. But in the whole country, it was said it's going to be quarantined, as if it's a person. But quarantine simply meant we will still do researches before we can give it to other people. So when they researched this AstraZeneca to this variant, they found out that the efficacy is very low. It's around 20%, which even if you vaccinated, you were still going to get, because the vaccine, it does not cure COVID. What it does is that when you get COVID, you won't be able to die, or you won't be able to be hospitalized. The same as
it
minimizes the risk. So imagine if you were given AstraZeneca, which is saving only 20% efficacy, and it's the same as nothing. So they had to go for another research, which they found out that I found out that Johnson & Johnson was at least above 60% efficacy. If it's above 50%, it's at least something, but if it's less than 50%, it's as good as nothing. So we had, the government had to resort to buying Johnson & Johnson because it will reduce the hospitalization of people, it will reduce the mortality rate amongst the people. We have seen how people were dying. So if we have Johnson & Johnson, so the death rate will go down, the hospitalization will go down, and so forth and so forth.
Okay. Let's talk about your first day, and then you were called. Chipi Matsemela, it's your day for vaccination. When was it? How did you feel? How did the day go by?
Okay, the rollout for vaccines was done on the 17th of February in Job Shimankana Tabane, and only 2 sites were identified, which is Job Shimankana Tabane and in the Rustenburg Hospital. So on the 17th, it was rolled out in Job Shimankana Tabane, but that was just a rollout, and then everything was discussed, and then the real vaccination was to start on the 18th of February. Come the 18th of February in the morning, so we were called, actually we were briefed in the morning that the vaccination will start around 9 o'clock. So the first person that was supposed to be vaccinated was the CEO. But unfortunately, if you have to be vaccinated, you have to register, you have to get a voucher in your cell phone before you can vaccinate. So by then the CEO had a network problem, I think. So he did not have a voucher by then. So the first person that was vaccinated in Job Shimankana Tabane was our Deputy Director Quality Assurance, Meiva Mkhorozi, who had a voucher by then. So after the DD had the vaccine, and then the Deputy Director Nursing followed.
Step by step.
Yes. And then CEO followed as the third after getting the voucher ultimately. And then the assistant directors were called. Actually, the managers were supposed to be the last to get the vaccine. But that day, I think people still had fear. So we had to lead by example to say, let's take the bullet
if
first.
I take it, then it's easy for you to come and take it.
So
you were called.
Yes, then we were called. Then we came there, and then the vaccinators were there, and then the people from Oram were there. They were registering people that couldn't register on their phones. And then we went in. We were vaccinated.
Chippy, I've made research. Now you're sitting on that chair. Now, how do you sister? Or nurse or doctor? What comes to mind now? What comes to mind? Like normally now, what comes to mind about the vaccine? Now I'm getting this vaccine. Then what did the mind say to you?
No, I think I was ready.
Okay.
No, it's if you, I think a person before can say I'm going to be vaccinated. That person should be ready. Don't force anybody to do that. So readiness is the first thing that you have.
So you did not do it because you are in the front.
No, I did not do it because I was in the front line, but I did it because I was ready to do it after having being educated about the vaccine and seeing what effect does it have on the hospitalization and the reducing death rate. So I was ready. Actually, I was ready. I've been waiting. Actually, I waited for that day.
And then let's speak about
when we were called. For me, I was excited just to go there and vaccinate and say and pat myself on the shoulder that I vaccinated. I was ready.
And then after the vaccine, I guess they gave you the process. How long is it going to take for the symptoms? What types of symptoms must you look at? Can you share that with us as well?
Yes, we were told that immediately after you are being vaccinated, there's another place that you are taking vital signs again to see whether you are still okay. And then you wait in another tent for at least 20 minutes. So they check whether you don't have dizziness, headache, sore throat, Others had they were itching, the itchiness. Yeah. So those they check all those things whether you don't have them immediately. Like there is an immediate reaction, and there can be a delayed reaction. For instance, other people vaccinated on a Thursday, but the following day is then that they got some reactions. So they check the immediate and then they check the delayed. But those that had some reactions, they take at least 1 to 2 days, less than 48 hours.
And then they clear off.
And then they clear off.
And then did you have
But
any?
others had severe. It depends. They are mild, they are moderate, and they are severe.
Okay.
So it depends. So when your immune system, what immune system you have, so they can be mild, which will take 1 to 2 days. They can be moderate, which can take 1 to 5 days. And then they can be severe, where sometimes you require hospitalization. Others were even hospitalized.
But I think when you talk about the stages, it also goes with your immune system.
Yes.
If your immune system is balanced, then it's very rare that you can go to the stage of hospitalization.
Yeah, it depends on the antibodies that you have. Sometimes you are an asymptomatic COVID. You are COVID positive, but you don't know. So when you go for vaccination, that is when now hell will break loose, because now you already have this COVID in your bloodstream. Now we are giving you another COVID. It's like a lessened. Just to a vaccine is just to say to your antibodies, wake up.
To boost
we have,
so hence they always say, let's talk about the flu simple vaccine. They will say, don't do flu vaccine if you are already having flu. You need to take it if your system is clear.
Okay.
So it's the same as with the COVID.
Yeah.
You cannot get COVID vaccine if you are positive.
If you are positive.
Okay.
No,
so with you never had any after effects after the vaccination?
I never had any side effects. To be honest, I never had side effects. I vaccinated on the 19th, and from there I never had any side effects. I never had headache, dizziness, redness or swelling, and on the injected side I never, up to today, I never had.
Still okay?
Yes, I'm still okay. And I think most of the people in the hospital never had, but some had some mild reaction, but mostly did not have side effects.
Okay, we heard in the news that if you take the first one, there's a second one. Is the program still that way, that after you take your first vaccine, you will be given the next date that you come for your second vaccine?
It depends on the type of the COVID vaccine that you have.
Okay.
When we are talking about AstraZeneca, it is when we were saying you will get the first vaccine, and then after at least 30 days you get the second vaccine.
Okay.
But with Johnson & Johnson, we are saying you get your vaccine now, and you can get it every year, like flu vaccine.
Okay.
You don't have to do it regularly like AstraZeneca.
Okay.
For AstraZeneca, you were supposed to get the first dose, and then after 30 days get
the
another
second
dose.
one. So
But
this one
with
is the once off, and then the following
yes,
year.
you can get it annually.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Oshipi, can we just briefly talk about Unati, who's coming for vaccine now? What question have they asked? Sister Kitloba and Alien, Sister Kitloba, so how is the community taking the vaccine now? Are the people coming booking for vaccine? Do you get people coming for vaccine, or people are still reluctant?
No, at the moment, I think we have seen even in the news that there are phases. We are still in the phases of the healthcare workers.
Okay, I see.
Yes, no, it has not yet been rolled out to other people. For now, we are doing the healthcare workers, the frontliners, the health, everybody who's working in the health fraternity, private and public.
Okay.
From there, we are going to go to the essential services.
Like
the essential services is the teachers, the police, the soldiers, the traditional healers. I've heard they are part of us.
Yes, they are.
They are part of healthcare workers.
Doctors.
They are doctors.
Okay.
So we are still in the first phase. We are still concentrating on the healthcare workers. So from this week, on Monday, we have started in private, in Pekla Hospital and Moses Kotane. That other week, I think it was only 2 sites. It was only Job Shimankana and Tsepo. From this week, from Monday, previous week, now we have started at Pekla Hospital, but we are still doing the healthcare workers and Moses Kotane Hospital. So we are expanding. At the end of the day, we were told we will have 49 sites as the rollout goes on and on.
Yeah, a mouthful about vaccine. Naki Tumelahore, we've got a person who's knowledgeable, not only from the hearsays, but from reading and from being educated within the industry ya health. I think because now we've still been thinking for first vaccine, the second one, and then also we are rushing into us now. They are in the health sector, they will be moving into the
Essential workers.
The essential workers, like Mapodisa, the teachers. That is what we've heard also on the news. But the input irrespective of it's the health side or it's personally, but out there, I know our support will say comes from everywhere about this vaccine. But today we are just saying, give them the message about vaccine being positive. Yet you are still here and you are pushing the way to help others.
What I can say to the community is that I believe we were not guinea pigs. We were supposed to get the vaccine. And as you can see, we had vaccines and we are still alive. So let's be ready so that when the other rollouts are coming, we can be able to be vaccinated. But what I want to emphasize is, if you are vaccinated, it does not mean you are immune to COVID. You still have to comply. You still have to wash your hands. You still have to sanitize. You still have to wear your mask when you are in public. You still have to do everything that not to infect other people. So let's be ready so that when other phases are being rolled out, then we are ready. Then we can be vaccinated, because I think this is our only cure. To reduce the death rate and the hospitalization. That is what we really want to reduce. That our hospitals shouldn't be overburdened by people coming with COVID symptoms, because some of them stays for long, for 3 months. So you can imagine if one person stays in a ventilator for 3 months, what happens to others that comes that need that ventilator. That is what we want to alleviate the death rate. We have seen how we were burying our loved ones. So most of the people lost their loved ones. So that is what we want to reduce. That people should get the COVID, but it should not kill them. It should just be like any other disease, and then you should isolate yourself, and then it should pass, but not die or not be admitted. We can handle it at home like flu that we are handling flu. So let's be ready. When we are supposed to register, let's register. Let's continue to listen to our radios, the TVs that are informing us of the truthful facts about COVID. Don't read the thesis and all these myths that are being said about COVID. The vaccination is there. We are vaccinated and we are still here. So let's all go when we are told to go, so that we can be vaccinated.
Tuapelo Mosadi, Queen Mother. Thank you for the information. We are here about empowerment, and you are empowered about COVID and vaccine. A re tsweleng pele re apare di-mask tsa rona. Di-mask di tshwanetse di tswale nko ya rona, which is our respiratory, le sele di se tswale close. Re make sure re tlhapa matsogo, we sanitize all the time and apply social distancing. Ra itse go na le fo go sa kgonagaleng teng, especially mo di-taxing tsa rona tsa transport. Let us also make sure we keep safe and we adhere to what we are supposed to do. We just want to say, Oshipi, thank you so much. Moduma le baballe. Rela aparetsa ka mohau. Gate mohau ko batsadi ba rona ka tiro le yetsang. You are honestly doing a very, very remarkable work. Whatever that you do, if it's not recognized, if it's not said, Tuwapele Mosadi says, re a leboga. Continue doing what you are doing. Signing out, re Tuwapele Mosadi una tinare re a leboga. Tsang thuto e le fileng ka jeko and idiriseng and share with others. Thank you.